Am I the a-hole for moving out when my stepsister ruined my Father's Day gift for my dad? I, female 16, live with my mom, stepdad, and stepsister 18, and stepbrother 20. I lost my dad to cancer when I was 13 years old. We were very close, and his death was a major loss in my life. I wasn't able to keep much of his belongings because of my stepdad's insecurities and lack of sympathy and respect for me and my dad. It's sad to say that Mom moved on relatively fast. My stepsister and I share a room together. My stepbrother has a bigger room because he's the man, and as a result, me and my stepsister are always in conflict. She wants me out during the day as she uses the room as her art studio. She recently accused me of stealing her tools and convinced her dad to get a lock. So now I'm being forcefully locked out and can't get in till after a huge argument and getting Mom involved. My stepsister had an argument with her brother and ruined his gaming console when he was out. He came into the room quietly in the evening, stood by the door and asked me to bring him my stepsister's acrylic paint set. I asked if he got permission. He said yes, so I gave it to him and went back to study. At dinner, my stepsister came downstairs, yelling that her brother had access to her room and ruined her paint set. There was a lot of yelling and arguing. Stepdad asked how my stepbrother walked into the room when it was supposed to be locked. My stepbrother admitted I helped him out and brought the paint set to him. My stepsister went off on me, called me an accomplice, then ran upstairs and took the gift I prepared for my dad for Father's Day. I picked up flowers I planted from our small garden that I take care of by myself and prepared a nice wooden letter-shaped pot. Used my dad's first initial and filled it with the flowers I picked and decorated it with ribbons. It wasn't that good, but it was like a floral letter. I planned to visit his grave and put the gift there, but she damaged it to pieces. It was completely ruined. I yelled at her and kept crying. Mom and stepdad gave her harsh punishment and thought it was fixable, but I was so done. I called my uncle who came and berated my mom and stepdad. Stepdad offered to fix it and punish his stepdaughter harder, but I packed my things to go with my uncle. My mom begged me to stay, but I refused and didn't respond when she kept calling, saying she did nothing to deserve to be shunned by me and my uncle, who told the family about what happened. The family told Mom not to come visit on Father's Day and are angry with her because I moved out over this. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your mom failed you. She failed to take your feelings into account after your dad died. Failed to stand up to her husband when he failed to respect you and your dad. Failed to protect you from his daughter and her unreasonable demands. The only thing both of them did right was punishing your stepsister for destroying the Father's Day gift you made. That isn't enough to make up for all of the other crap. If you stayed, I think your stepsister would have found some way to punish you for her getting in trouble for destroying the gift you made. Stay away if you can. Yes, your mother deserves to be in trouble with the rest of the family for everything that has happened to you. Agree with one small modification. For everything that has happened to you. For allowing everything that has happened to you. Not the a-hole. She has done nothing to deserve to be shunned by me. Except ignore OP. Allow stepsister to abuse OP. Allow stepdad to be sexist to both of them. Stepbrother gets the bigger room because he's a man? WTF. Disregarded OP's feelings at every turn and allowed stepdad to get rid of her father's things she wanted to keep. She's right. She has done nothing, absolutely nothing she should have done to avoid this outcome, which surely would have come the day OP turned 18 anyway. Not the a-hole. Being locked out of your own room is unacceptable. While your stepfamily is awful, it's your mom who is the real a-hole. She should be advocating and standing up for you. Being locked out and not getting to keep your dad's stuff is completely on her. I'm sure she had no problem spending or getting your stepdad to agree to keep any stepsister benefit she gets for you, for your dad having passed away. I'm still trying to wrap my head around any sane mother who would allow their daughter to be locked out of their bedroom for any length of time. I've heard of removing the door or lock, still not cool, but locking them out? Wow, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry that you lost your dad, and I'm sorry that you have an insensitive mom. If you can stay with your uncle, I would. Your mom has not considered your feelings regarding your father, and the fact that she does nothing about how your stepfather and stepsister treat you is truly awful. Keep your distance. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for walking out after I opened the gift my stepson brought me for Father's Day? I, male 37, have two step-kids, Gina 11 and Brian 16. My stepdaughter is the apple of my eye. I love her to pieces. But my stepson has a difficult personality. Never does anything with us. Never lets me help him with anything and keeps his distance from me. He also never tells me about his problems or achievements, and it's been difficult trying to establish a good bond with him like my stepdaughter. My wife says that's his nature, so I should stop pressuring him. Till he recently started spending time with me, but every time he'd pull a nasty prank. Like replace my shampoo, or ruin my credit card, or ruin my tires/rear lights. This caused a rift between us, especially since my wife says those are pranks. But I was worried for my safety and got paranoid from getting in the car or going to the supermarket with a ruined credit card. So I kept my distance. Father's Day, I took my wife and my stepson and stepdaughter to our parents' house for breakfast. I received a beautiful gift from my stepdaughter and didn't expect my stepson to get me anything as always. But he did bring me a gift. It looked like a nice gift in a box and was beautifully wrapped and introduced. I was so excited and happy because all I was thinking of was not the gift itself, but the fact my stepson is finally letting me be part of his life and remembering me on Father's Day, so it meant the world to me. That was already my gift, but I couldn't wait to open it and show him my appreciation and gratitude. Well, I opened the box and saw a stinky old sock of mine that I've lost a couple of months ago placed inside. The look in my face said it all. My stepson encouraged me to show everybody what he's got me. I didn't want to, but my father-in-law took the box and pulled out the sock. He looked confused, and my stepson started laughing hysterically. So did others. It was an absolute horrible moment. I wish I could just jump out the window and run away from embarrassment. I just got up and walked out the room silently while my stepson was laughing behind. My wife came to tell me that I overreacted massively and my stepson was just messing with me, meaning it was a prank. But he embarrassed me in front of the entire family. And frankly, I don't give a crap about the gift. But what he did felt so humiliating I almost cried. He just said that I shouldn't have walked out like that and made it awkward, since I'm the adult and should have handled this better. I left my in-laws' house and my wife and kids are still there. My wife is upset that I left and wanted to get some time alone and a good cry and remember my dad and try to keep my mind off what happened earlier. Am I the a-hole for this? Not the a-hole. At first, I was thinking he was being 16. But the more I read, I'm horrified. And your wife is enabling this by taking his side constantly and allowing it to go unpunished. The kid needs therapy. These are not pranks, and you shouldn't have to put up with this. Your wife needs to change the way she handled him, or I would be out the door. Not the a-hole. What prank involves damaging credit cards and cars? She needs a reality check. Seriously, Opie, your stepson is either a sociopath or a major a-hole. Your wife is an enabler. And honestly, I don't think I'd put up with this poor treatment. Stepson or not. I think it's harmful to diagnose people over the internet, especially with stuff as misunderstood as cluster B disorders. The kid's an A regardless, though. Not the a-hole. And I'm sorry your wife is enabling her child to be disrespectful, mean, and a little turd. Your wife is the a-hole here. The stepson does what he's allowed to do. You need to address this with your wife. Like now. And she needs to rein in her little devil. It's not cute, and it's not pranks. Unless you and your wife are on the same page, things will only get worse. Perhaps it's time to walk away. Your wife doesn't respect you at all. Your wife is laughing at this BS? Leave. Not the a-hole. However, your wife, her family, and her son are all a-holes. Not the a-hole. You left a situation that was meant to embarrass you. Your stepson is a jerk. Messing with your credit card and your car earned pranks. It's malicious vandalism. And the fact his mom doesn't say anything to him is ridiculous. If he did that stuff to anyone outside the family, he'd get reamed out if not charged with a crime for the stuff with the car. Take your time and have a sit down with your wife and tell her you aren't overreacting. She's enabling her son to be a jerk. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my mom I'm never sharing Father's Day again? My parents divorced when I was 2. My mom remarried when I was 5. My older brother and sister and I split time between both homes equally as little kids. It was tough. Our mom would call them both our dads, despite us never calling her husband dad or stepdad. At first, I was going to refer to him as my stepdad, but he was always a domineering prick. Our mom says that's who he is and how he expresses himself, but I don't like being treated like I'm in the army. That's his background. One time, he and my brother had a huge fight because he asked my brother why he left his bed half-made, but he did so in this really strong way. Like barking orders at someone. And my brother told him he had no right to talk to him like that, and he wasn't going to answer unless he asked in a better way. My brother got grounded for that because he actually followed through and refused to answer. For me, it was hardest when my half-siblings were born, and my mom would tell me the reason to say I have two dads is because he was their dad. And while I might not love him the same as mine, we had that shared connection now more than ever. But his personality makes him hard to love, honestly. He's intimidating, and not someone I ever grew to enjoy having in my life. So when I was 14, 2 years ago, I chose to stay with my dad all the time, and it caused some fights, but never more than now. My mom always insisted on sharing Father's Day between our dad and her husband. She even gave up some of Mother's Day to get it. None of us, me or my siblings, ever wanted it, and neither did our dad. But the judge said seeing as she was willing to share Mother's Day, he ordered it. At least until it was changed when I went to live with my dad. That year we were fighting, so Father's Day wasn't pushed. But last year it was. And this year, yeah. So I told my mom I'm not splitting it anymore. That I'm celebrating with the only father I have. And that's how I will celebrate it going forward. She was so pissed. She told me I was being ungrateful and mean-spirited to a man who loves me as his own. And that all three step-kids doing this is a big middle finger to all step-parents. And how most kids would be grateful for a man like him. I told her that didn't change things for me. She's even trying to get my dad to send me over in the afternoon. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Tell her that the fact that all three step-kids have rejected him shows that he's the common denominator and where the problem lies. Not an a-hole. Yeah, if a few people you meet are a-holes, it's probably a them problem. If everyone you meet is an a-hole, it's probably a you problem. Not an a-hole. People tend to get to treat my kids the way they deserve, but let's dig into this one in more depth. He was always a domineering prick. Our mom says that's who he is and how he expresses himself, but I don't like being treated like I'm in the army. That's his background. We get so many posts on the sub where various family or friends defend a-holes because that's just how they are. No, how they are is an a-hole, and that's not okay. Let's dig in further. Being in the army doesn't make you act like an a-hole, but the service do tend to attract small people who hide behind rank to act big. No one became an a-hole by joining the army. The army is just a friendlier place for a-holes. I was in the Navy, I understand this quite well. Bob Ross was a master sergeant in the Air Force. Proof that your background doesn't define you. This is a big middle finger to all step-parents, and how most kids would be grateful for men like him. Nope, this is a big middle finger to a man who needs to be told so. No kid needs an a-hole in their life, and your siblings said you came to the right conclusion. Frankly, your stepdad sounds like someone who wants to die alone. I would get smacked upside the head as a kid for doing big swipes to clean a counter instead of tiny clockwise circles to clean. Army stepdad would always reprimand us for not cleaning the army way, and even as kids, we were like, dude, we weren't in the army. Not today, Hall. You are 16 now, so old enough to decide who you want to stay with. Not today, Hall. He may love you like his own, but acting like a drill sergeant to his kids is the wrong way to show it. He's driven you and your siblings away, and your mom needs to accept it. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not being interested in being an aunt to and spending money on my brother's stepdaughter that I barely know and barely see? My brother Tyler is divorced, who had a daughter Ella, 7, and a son Noah, 3, with his ex-wife. A few months after separating last year, he got together with Sarah, who has a 5-year-old daughter named Olivia. Tyler has embraced Olivia as his own, which he should, given that Olivia spends about 80% of her time with him, but is starting to get a bit upset that I'm not doing the same. I live interstate for work, and in February used a couple of vacation days and flew 2 hours each way for Ella's birthday party. I plan to do the same for Noah's birthday in September. But Tyler and Sarah are upset. I am not prepared to do that in July for Olivia's 6th birthday. I'm happy to use a couple of vacation days and spend money for my own niece or nephew, but not really for what is really a random child to me. I've only met Olivia twice, and that was at Ella's party. I stayed at my parents' house while in town, and when we all went out for dinner the next night before I went home. Olivia doesn't know who I am. He also got upset I didn't want to buy a big present for Olivia because I bought Christmas presents for Ella and Noah, but not Olivia. I made sure to wait until Olivia had gone to her dad's before giving them to the kids. I have nothing against Olivia. She's an innocent child. I'll obviously be polite to her when she's around, and I give Ella and Noah their presents privately. But at the end of the day, Olivia is not my niece, and I don't feel anything for her. I haven't bonded with her since she was a baby like I did with Ella and Noah, and I've only met her twice in passing. I don't FaceTime her 3 times a week like I do Ella and Noah. She doesn't come with my parents to visit me 3 times a year like Ella and Noah do. Olivia has her own other side of the family like Ella and Noah have me and my parents. And I think that while Tyler signed up to treat Olivia as his own when he made a choice to get into a relationship with Sarah, he didn't sign me and my money up for that. I'm not really a kid person. I love my niece and nephew because they are mine, but just don't feel anything for Olivia because she's basically a stranger to me. I'm not really interested in spending money and using vacation leave in what is basically a random kid to me. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If Tyler and Sarah split up, there's no reason to see Olivia again. But Ella and Noah will always be your blood. But if the relationship survives, are you seriously saying this is how you are going to keep treating her? And what if they had a kid together? Will you still leave Olivia out? You're the adult. You are going to have to make more of an effort. Not the a-hole for not wanting to use vacation days and spend your money flying interstate to go to the birthday party of a child you barely know. But I do think the way you talk about her like she's an unwelcome addition to the family is kind of horrible. Info. How long has your brother been living with his girlfriend? Since January. He separated from his ex-wife in November. That's it? I'd be the exact same. Wouldn't waste my time being an aunt, and I would never give up my holiday time for them. Am I the a-hole for being upset with my sister for wanting to skip my wedding because of her miscarriage? I, female 28, am getting married next week. Invitations are out, wedding planning was complete, and everything is going according to plan. However, my sister, female 31, just had a miscarriage, and mom told me that she told her she decided not to come to the wedding. I was dumbfounded, so I called my sister to talk about it, and she said she is exhausted and doesn't feel like attending. I told her that this is my wedding, not some family dinner she and her husband decided to skip. She apologized, hoping that I'd understand, but I said that I don't, because I really don't understand. What does her miscarriage has to do with being at my wedding? It's not like she gave birth and needed to stay with a baby. She must have had me on speaker because her husband heard and started scolding me about how this is a traumatic experience that my sister just went through, and said that I was insensitive to talk to her like that. I asked him to stay out of it, but he started arguing, telling me to respect my sister's wish and respect that they're grieving. I insisted to let me talk to her, but he said we were done talking. I ended up losing my temper with him, and he told me F you and your wedding, then hung up. My fiancé was in the room and heard him say that. He wanted to uninvite him and my sister over this instantly, but I didn't let him. I called mom and she promised to speak to my sister and convinced her to come. My dad called me later on and started berating me about harassing my sister and told me to leave her alone. I asked him if my brother-in-law told him about our fight, but he got defensive and told me to get off both my sisters and her husband's back and drop it. I told him how upset and hurt I was that my sister decided to skip my wedding, and how little she thought of it. He replied that my sister has a valid reason, and I was coming across and feeling and selfish not to see that, and lash out over her missing a party. This is not a party. That's my wedding. It matters to me. I was there for hers. Why can't she do the same and show up for a few hours? Dad said he won't tell me again to leave my sister alone. It urged me to stop bringing it up and gang up with mom to get my sister to go. But I wasn't doing that. Long story short, tension has been taking over since then. Mom thinks that a calm discussion will do, but I feel like my feelings are ignored and misunderstood, especially for my sister. Edited to add, I love my sister. I get her struggle, but I wanted her there because I care about her. Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole. You have no idea what it's like to be carrying life and hope inside your body, then to lose all that to forces outside of your control. People need time to collect their composure and grieve. The world doesn't revolve around you, and you're certainly not a person worth gravitating towards. F your wedding. This 100%. I can't believe she said it's not like you have a baby to stay home and take care of. Just wow. Yes, that was pouring salt in an open, gaping wound. Your baby's dead, so you're free, right? What's the big deal? You're the a-hole for having this attitude. I know those weren't your words, but it's an accurate paraphrase. You could easily have said, I understand that you are hurting right now, but I would really appreciate it if you would still come to the ceremony. You don't even have to stay for the reception, but it would mean a lot to me to have you there. But if the answer is still no, then you're the a-hole for not taking no for an answer. You're the a-hole. It's not like she gave birth and needed to stay with the baby. I refuse to believe you could actually type those words out and somehow still convince yourself you're not a-hole here. Believe it or not, nobody owes you their presence at your wedding. For any reason. The loss of an entire future they'd already started making plans for and investing enormous amounts of emotional capital in is ample cause to say, sorry, we're not up for celebrating right now. Which is really not a thing you would think a human being with a functioning heart or brain would need explained to them. So unless you're gunning for Bridezilla of the decade, which honestly seems like it might be the goal, quit digging and go apologize. Like yesterday. I really hope she didn't say that to her sister. Bad enough to write it here, but if it was said, I would have flipped my crap. You're the a-hole. Miscarriage isn't just a day and it's done. Depending on the age of the pregnancy, she may still be bleeding, may have follow-up doctor's appointments, could require a D&C if the miscarriage is incomplete. It may have been or still be a physically painful process. And that is all without touching on the emotional aspects of a miscarriage. If she is not up to the wedding, then she's not up to it. She is having a stressful medical incident, and that is probably compounded by grief. I feel like my feelings are ignored and misunderstood, especially for my sister. This is ironic, since you have completely failed to empathize with her. If you can't attempt to understand her situation, then best thing would be for you to let it go and not talk with her. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my brother my mother's engagement ring even though I agreed in the past? Me 21 female and my brother 25 male have agreed that my mom's engagement ring, 6 women in my family wore it, would be mine until he finds a girl he really wants to propose to. I agreed. Now, he has a girlfriend of 5 years and told me that he is planning to propose and would like the ring back. I immediately told no. And that's because as much as girl likes jewelry, she also likes to lose it. The amount of jewelry she lost is outstanding. I remember getting her very pretty earrings that I made myself, and she lost it like after 2 days. Of course, he got angry. So I told him that if he wants her to have that ring, he needs to give her now a random ring. And if she doesn't lose it until he proposes, he has a specific day planned. I will give it to him. He was annoyed but agreed. And well, guess what? She lost it. To be honest, I don't know how she does it. Well, I decided not to give the ring because it's a very important thing for my family, and said that if he wants to propose, he can buy another ring. I'm not letting her lose it. When she finds out, she was also furious because apparently she loved the ring. She promised to keep it saved because she knows how important it is to us. I told her that I will just keep it as my wedding ring if I ever get married. I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb for not giving her a chance. Edit. She knew about the don't lose this first ring and then you will get the heirloom. Not stay home. I think that's a pretty valid concern and reason to not want to lose a family heirloom. Yes, Opie's concerns are valid, but brother wasn't an a-hole for being pissed. The agreement was that he would eventually get the ring for his girlfriend, so Opie is pulling the rug out from under him last minute. Even a girlfriend, not an A, She was obviously promised this ring by both Opie and her boyfriend, and being careless with meaningless costume jewelry doesn't necessarily mean that girlfriend will be careless with a meaningful treasure. There isn't really a good solution, and Opie should probably just keep the ring to be on the safe side, but no a-holes here. This kind of happened in my family. My sister didn't get the heirloom ring and I did. There's some lingering resentment, but my sister is on her 4th engagement ring currently and I'm right now wearing the heirloom one. It makes sense for everyone to feel the way they did. Make a replica and give it to her. Then if it gets lost again, you're not out much. I don't like this idea at all. Lying will only cause more problems down the road. They might find out if they ever take it to a reputable jeweler for whatever reason. Example, cleaning resizing appraisal. And Opie will be seen as a huge a-hole. Honesty is the best route, and telling them the truth that she is too irresponsible is the best course of action. Not stay home. She loses nothing. Are y'all sure she doesn't sell it? I don't think so. It's not that expensive, to be honest, especially the ones I made myself. And why would she sell the one she bought herself? I think it's more that she loses stuff she doesn't like. I thought the same about the earrings, but she knew the fake ring was a gateway to the heirloom. Unless plot twist, she hates the heirloom as an engagement ring but doesn't want to tell the brother and pretends to be upset. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for hiding my fiancé's ring so she had to wear the one I bought her to see her parents? My fiancé comes from a very wealthy family. She was spoiled growing up as she was the youngest and only girl. Her dad is Persian, and according to her, their culture is very big on displays of wealth and money and jewelry. She has tons of expensive jewelry from her dad and uncles, and lives a pretty lavish life. I am not doing bad, but I'm not rich. I'm currently working as a very low-level developer with a computer company, and I don't quite make software developer money yet. When I proposed to my fiancé, I had to get a ring that wasn't very lavish. Like the ring she's got as a 13-year-old girl for her birthday or better looking. I thought that shouldn't matter as much though, as the ring is the least important part of the engagement. I'm also planning to get her a much better ring when I can afford it. So she accepted, but unbeknownst to me, she hadn't been wearing it, especially around her family. She keeps an engagement ring in her car that she got herself, takes off the ring I got and wears the other ring out. I found this out on a day I had to borrow her car. I put my wallet in a console while going into the gym and saw a ring box. I know I probably shouldn't have opened it, but I did. I was able to recognize it as an engagement ring, and when I got back home, I confronted her. She said that she prefers to wear that one around family because they already are suspicious about me since I'm not rich, and she wanted to protect me from any judgment. She said that if anyone from her family saw the ring I got, they'd think I wouldn't be good enough for her. I told her I didn't care, and it made me feel bad that she didn't wear my ring. She said that she would start wearing the ring out. Come last weekend, we have a dinner. She says she has to wear the ring when we see them for my sake. I again told her I didn't care what they thought of me. We argued and she said that she was wearing the ring and that was final. So while she was in the shower, I went down to her car, swapped the rings. I drove her car to her parents' house and she looked in her console and it was my ring. We got into an argument before she finally put it on and we went inside. The night went kinda bad. Her dad grilled us about the new ring, and he said that I should have bought her a better one and laid it into me about it. Her female relatives told her that she might need to reconsider the wedding since I cannot provide. We got into a huge argument when we got home, and she told me that I ruined my reputation in their eyes now. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. I'm going to go with you're the a-hole. Your fiancé isn't materialistic. If she was, she wouldn't be marrying you knowing that you are early in your career and financially not as secure as she is used to. She got the second ring because she was trying to protect you from her family's disapproval. Your own ego wouldn't let that go. Yes, she is trying to save face so her family doesn't disapprove. Why enter the family off on the wrong foot? Is your goal for her family to dislike you? Not saying it's valid, and have her need to defend you all the time? Why make life difficult over a ring? She already said yes and is aware of your financial situation. Are you trying to force her to cut off her family because they'll be talking crap about you? What's your end goal for this? You're the a-hole. She knows her family and wanted to avoid a scene you forced her into. You're planning to buy her a much better ring when you can't afford it anyway, you said. So why are you so hurt by this? Now she really will have to reevaluate marrying you. Also, he may not care what her family thinks of him, but she's going to get the brunt of it, not him. She's going to be the one told he's not good enough. She definitely should have expressed this issue to him beforehand, but as long as she's only swapping the ring in front of the family, I get where she's coming from. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for making my mother-in-law cry? I, 26 female, and my husband, 26 male, have been together for 8 years and married for 1. We have 2 kids together and just bought a house. My mother-in-law came by to visit the other day when my husband was at work, and my youngest child, 4, was having a full-blown meltdown. My youngest son has mild autism and severe ADHD, and my mother-in-law knows this. Well, my older child, 8, lets her in, and I'm dealing with a toddler in a separate room to calm him down. My mother-in-law comes to me and sits down and starts talking. Well, I get my toddler to calm down, and she looks at me and goes, "It's a good thing you came to your senses and decided not to have any more of those." Now this instantly angered me because I had a lot of complications with my second pregnancy, and I was put under a lot of stress during this pregnancy by my husband's family because they didn't want me to be pregnant. I had my older son at 17 and he was not biologically my husband's. However, my husband has been around and raised him since he was born because his bio dad disappeared. My youngest son was supposed to be a twin, but I lost one early in the pregnancy. And during my whole pregnancy, my in-laws kept pressuring me to get my tubes tied because they didn't think I should have any more kids. Not for the medical reasons I chose to have it done. My in-laws have never liked me or approved of me because they don't like the family I come from. I calmly tell my toddler to go play with brother because I need to talk to his grandma. After he leaves, I look at her and tell her she needs to leave. She gets mad and tells me I have no right to tell her to leave because it's her son's house, not mine, and I am a stay-at-home mom with no income or credit. So only my husband's name is on the loan of the house. I am really pissed now and say, "You are being a vindictive witch." And it's funny that you tell me about how I don't need more children when you only closed up your baby factory after you've had 5 kids because you cared more about having a daughter than being a good mother. Well, she left and then later told my husband a bunch of lies, and he came home and asked me about it. I told him what happened and he believes me because he knows how his mother is. But now she is saying I am horrible and she refuses to come back till I apologize. I said then she just won't come back. But now my husband's whole family is mad at both of us for him taking my side. So am I the a-hole? Edit. This is kind of important. My mother-in-law blames me for my youngest son having autism and ADHD, even though my husband has ADHD, and told my husband that if he had just chosen to breed with good stock and picked someone she approved of, his son wouldn't be messed up. Not stay home. She refuses to come back until you apologize? Congratulations, you just won the game. So she says something rude, you take the high road and ask her to leave. So she says more rude things to which you respond in kind, deservedly so. And now she's making you out to be the bad guy. I'm so tired of these bullies with martyrdom complexes. If you can't take it, don't dish it out. Not stay home and hope that she holds true to her ultimatum of not coming back until you apologize. Not stay home. How delightful that she is punishing you by withholding her company. Excellent outcome. And move in the meantime and leave no forwarding address. I wish it was that easy to move, but it took us over a year just to find this house. Regarding your edit, next time she blames you for your youngest, just point out that autism comes from the father's side. Hey everyone. Here's an update as of 5 minutes ago because my husband called her this morning after I talked to him some more. He told her until she apologizes to me, she is not welcome in our house or around our kids. She has been removed from the emergency contact and pickup list at both my kids' schools. And that we will not be attending any family holidays. And that we blocked her and the rest of the family in social media so that she can't get updates about the kids or see any pictures of them. Being a teen mom is hard, no discounting that. But having a teenage boy step up to help raise a child that isn't biologically his are all but non-existent. You too clearly have something very special to have withstood hardships from such young ages and still be together. From your post, your husband sounds like a grade A stand-up guy who has your back and will do anything to protect his family. Am I the a-hole for getting mad at my sister for telling my girlfriend about our family's wealth? My family's low-key wealthy, but my parents have made sure that we are never flashy about it. We live in the same place we've lived for about 15 years, don't have flashy clothes and cars, and generally make sure we're spending money on experiences rather than objects. Cue my younger sister, who is totally spoiled, and for some reason feels extremely entitled to her share of the wealth. She just turned 21, and I think part of it is her finally getting information about her trust and in general how we stand. I'm 25 and the older one, so I sort of know about all this for a while now. Anyway, long story short, my sister ended up going car shopping with my girlfriend for expensive new cars, Porsches. My dad had not approved anything, so I don't know what she's going to do. But apparently she flashed my dad's credit card and talked up the salesman about how much money she has to spend. My girlfriend was shocked that me driving a simple and assuming 10-year-old Lexus will have a sister throwing 100,000 at a car. We had a huge discussion and ended up fighting about it. She was shocked at roughly how much money we had and told me I was a tad selfish for not mentioning it when she had college and medical debt. Honestly, we've only been dating for 2 years, and I was thinking after about a year I would propose if things are going well and start this discussion. This all happened a little too soon. I'm really mad at my sister and kinda laid it out on her. Told her how immature and selfish she was, and how she's undoing everything our parents worked hard for to install values in us. She told me I had to grow up and that I'm a wet blanket. Am I the a-hole here? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. The biggest a-hole here is your girlfriend for assuming that because you come from a wealthy family you're obligated to pay off her debt. Is this really the kind of person you want to have a relationship with? Yeah, that kinda caught me off guard. Could be a red flag, but coming from another thought place, maybe she just got caught off guard. If y'all have talked about her struggling with money, maybe feels that conversations you've had were insincere in some way due to you being extremely wealthy and not able to really relate to her problems. Your parents' money has nothing and will never have anything to do with her college and medical debt. That was a strange thing for her to say. I don't get why people would be mad at not being told about wealth. Are they equally as mad about not being told of a family debt? I'm blown away that she thinks she's entitled to it. I was thinking the same. It's telling that the fact that her knowing that you have access to money equals her debts being paid. The only reason you should disclose an aspect of your finances with anyone is if they are contributing to them, for business purposes or because you are combining household finances. Why would you need to know how much money you have? Sorry, she wants you to pay off her debt? Just because your family's wealthy? The audacity and entitlement she has. Not they all OP. Yours and your family finances are really none of her business unless y'all get married. Yeah, but I guess if my parents are okay, they're not. With my sister spending 100,000 on a car, her 20,000 medical debt seems quite small. But your girlfriend is not your parents' kid nor their responsibility. Yeah, it sucks for your girlfriend and your sister sounds spoiled, but your girlfriend isn't their family and are under no obligation to take care of her. I would be mortified and would rather die than to throw a fit over my wealthy boyfriend not paying my debt. Especially if it's only been 2 years and you all aren't even engaged. And like you said, your parents aren't okay with your sister buying that expensive a car. Why would they be okay dropping thousands on someone not their priority? Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister I'm not surprised she doesn't have a friend? Plus a little update. So I recently moved to my home country for college, and recently found out my 10-year-old sister did something that I'm pretty upset about. So my family had a party for me before I left, and near the end I noticed that my Nintendo Switch and its games were gone. I found it in my sister's room and packed it and went to sleep to get ready to go to the airport. The flight and everything else went fine, and while I was unpacking my stuff, I noticed I couldn't find my Nintendo Switch or any of its games. I was really confused, as I distinctly remembered putting it in my suitcase. I called my mom and she explained that my sister had taken the games in my Switch in the middle of the night and hid it so she could have it. My mom didn't know until it was too late, and just grounded my sister from candy for a week. I am fuming. The Switch was given to me by a friend, and all the games were either gifts or I paid for them. And now my mom thinks it's completely okay to let my sister take something that is mine. When I told her this, she said I was being melodramatic and territorial, and to let my sister have it. The next week, my sister called me and was being a snot-face about the whole thing, saying stuff like, "How does it feel to know you have to ask me to play games now?" I told her that she is an entitled brat and told her, "I'm not surprised you still don't have a friend." My sister was shocked and hung up the phone. She has been having trouble making friends for a while now and told me I'm a jerk. I'll admit, I went too far, but I don't disagree with calling her out and doing that. My sister has never done anything like this, and my siblings and parents are telling me I'm an a-hole and telling me to apologize and let her keep it. I'm conflicted and need to know if I'm in the wrong because I feel bad and need to know if I'm the entitled brat. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. My entire family isn't letting me talk to her until I say it belongs to her. Wait. Your sister effectively steals your Switch, phones you to brag about said theft, and somehow your mother thinks you're the a-hole for snapping back? Yeah, no, that's not how it works. No wonder your sister is struggling to make friends. Hard not the a-hole. Yeah, that's what I'm also thinking. Opie's sister stole from Opie and mom was like, I didn't give her any candy. She is just a kid. Leave it. What the heck is wrong with her? Correct their mistake. Opie's sister doesn't have any remorse about her actions. I also agree with not the a-hole. Opie's mom is going to look like shocked Pikachu when she never comes home from school again. Not the a-hole. Set up a conference call including your mother and a friend who gave you the Switch, and ask your mother to explain to your friend why she's letting your sister keep the gift that the friend gave you, rather than packing it up and mailing it to you. After all, you will have to explain why you don't have it when they talk to you and ask if you are enjoying their gift. Right now, the easy thing for your mother is to let your sister keep it, rather than dealing with the trouble of mailing it, or your sister's complaints when it is gone since she is there to complain in person. The embarrassment of the accountability to the person who spent the money for this may be motivating. That is a great idea. Let me try to set this up. Does your friend live near your parents? Is it possible for you to ask them to pick it up and pay them to mail it to you? I would do this if I hated my friend. My entire family would go ape on him and send him hateful messages, and he has no way of coming in without being caught. Edit. Thank you all for the support. I now realize I've been manipulated, gaslighted, and emotionally mistreated by my entire family for years. I'll make an update post on what happens. And yes, I am involving the police. I can't tell you all how grateful I am to finally grow a spine and stop making excuses for their toxic BS. Thank you all. Update. Well, the basic rundown is that my sister apologized after Joy, my cousin, told her what she did was wrong, and forgave me and gave my stuff to Joy to mail back. I reported theft to the police, and my entire family has been calling me and Joy homophobic slurs and screaming at us through calls. So is no contact for both of us. I'll try to keep you all updated on what happens next. Next story. Am I the a-hole for letting my mom find out about my pregnancy through Facebook? My mom has always been a difficult person. In the past, we have had a lot of struggles with her control issues and need to be the center of attention. 2 years ago, my sister was pregnant with a baby girl that she wanted for a long time. Due to a previous miscarriage, she told the immediate family but wanted to wait to make a public announcement for another month to be safe. My mom decided that she needed to tell everyone, and when my sister said that she'd rather wait, my mom posted the announcement on Facebook anyways. My sister had no idea until the congratulations text started coming in. She was devastated. I didn't speak to my mother for a long time. My mom never apologized or admits she did anything wrong and said it was her news to share too since she was becoming a grandma. Flash forward to now and I'm expecting. We wanted to wait until we were in a better place medically before making an announcement. Fortunately, we were able to keep it to ourselves for a while. When we started telling the family, we called everyone individually to tell them the news and to keep it private since we were making a public announcement later. I know this may have been petty, but I didn't call my mom. Every time I think about what happened with my sister, it still fills me with rage, and I had no desire to give her the satisfaction of taking away that experience again. So we made a public announcement without telling her beforehand. Naturally, she called us screaming when she found out, telling my husband and I how selfish we were and how we didn't care about family since she found out through Facebook. This didn't come as a huge shock. However, I keep getting calls and texts from extended family saying that I need to apologize, and I'm punishing my mom for being excited about her grandchildren. I refuse to apologize, and I feel justified because of her past behavior. The rest of the family is saying I should apologize and smooth it over with her. Am I being petty? Am I the a-hole? Added to add, this is not the first time she's ruined someone's news. When my brother told the family he eloped, she told him that he made a family look classless. I'd ask him what her friends were supposed to think. I truly don't think there's any way that she would have been happy if she didn't get to share the news in her own way first. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. You taught your mother a lesson she should have learned a long time ago. Actions have consequences. And if she keeps giving you a hard time, tell her the same thing will happen when the baby is born. She will get the news on Facebook. Or give her the non-apology. I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to ruin my announcement like you did with sister. I'm proud of Opie for learning this lesson. My mom shared news of my pregnancy to her church group before I had even told any of my friends, because it didn't count since they were praying for me. Then stupid me, I texted all the grandparents to announce the birth and waited 10 minutes to be sure they had all seen it before telling anyone else. But I didn't swear them to absolute secrecy. So my mom texted all my siblings before I had a chance to do it myself. I was so mad, but Grandma was just excited. So OP, congrats on being smarter than me. Keep up the good work when baby is born. Who cares if she's pissed off? Not stay home. Yes, you were being petty, but in my opinion, totally justified here. She doesn't respect your or your sister's boundaries and requests. Why respect hers? Not stay home. Your mom has demonstrated she's not a safe person to share information with until you're good and ready to share it publicly. If she's upset about that, she needs to reflect on what she's done to damage your trust and what she can do in future to make amends. Not make it about her and her hurt feelings and what she thinks she's entitled to. Make note of the family members who are taking her side, or have at least decided it's easier not to upset her than to respect your wishes, and make sure they don't get any private baby photos or updates either. I think Grandma's demonstrated she isn't a safe person, period. She found out her daughter was pregnant, and her first reaction was rage that she didn't get to share this news. It tells me her first reaction is always going to be think of herself and her desires, not of you or your child. Continuing to have her in your life is going to be a constant battle to get her to respect even the most basic of boundaries. This type loves the battle because it keeps your attention focused on them, and your life circulates around them and their drama. Only you can decide if constant battle is worth what she brings to your life and will bring to your child. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for making my wife think our son was missing? My wife has a horrible habit that I discovered 2 months ago. We were ordering lunch on the Subway app, and I told her to pick the location that has a drive-thru. That way we don't have to go inside and take the baby out of the car just to clip him back in a few minutes later. She told me it's not a big deal to leave the baby in the car to run in and pick it up really fast. I had no idea she ever did this. I told her I was not comfortable with her leaving him in the car alone even for a minute, and she told me she's been doing it since he was born and has always been fine. She told me she does it to pick up food, run into the post office or pharmacy, etc. I was floored. We don't live in a horrible area, but it's also not super safe either. I told her to not ever do this again. She told me she never stopped to think about the potential dangers and that she would stop doing it. Well, yesterday as I was driving home from my brother's house, I spotted her car at the gas station near our place. It was parked in a spot up front and not a pump, so I figured she stopped in to grab some snacks, which we like to do. I decided to stop and go in, and say hi and get some food, and I pulled in and parked next to her. However, when I got there, I was furious to find our son in his car seat. The car wasn't even locked. I don't know what came over me, but in that moment, I decided to take my son and put him into my car. He's got a car seat in there too. I then drove to the other side of the gas station parking lot and waited for my wife to come out. It took 6 minutes for her to appear. When she saw that he was gone, she looked stunned for a second and then started to frantically look around and cry. I didn't let it go on long. After this, I saw her pull her phone out, presumably to call 911, and that's when I pulled my car around to her. I parked, got out and walked around to my son's door and opened it to show him to her. She looked extremely relieved, but that quickly turned to anger with her asking me why I took him and did that to her. I told her she needed to learn her lesson, and that she promised to stop leaving him in the car, and that she was extremely irresponsible. It was so easy for me to pull up and take him. No one else at the gas station even noticed. So if he really was taken, there would have been no help, and it would have been 100% her fault. She proceeded to call me cruel and psychotic and tried taking our son out of my car into hers. I said no and that I would be driving him home, and I left. She came home not much later but ignored me the rest of the day. She acknowledged me today, saying she wanted an apology, but I said absolutely not, and she's the one who should be saying sorry. She's been guilt-tripping me the rest of the day, saying no mother should experience the fear I put her through. Did I go too far? Am I the a-hole? Normally I'm fully against game playing, but this is your child's life. I support your actions. Your wife is being hugely neglectful. Not to mention it'll be warm soon, and being left in a hot car even for a few minutes can be deadly. Not the a-hole, and I wouldn't let her take him anywhere until she apologizes. I guess I should clarify that the car was running with the air on. I forgot to add that detail and was restricted by the character limit, but the car was on. It's a push to start car with a sensor for the key fob, so it'll stay on/running as long as you are close enough to the vehicle. I didn't see the keys in the car, so she took them inside with her, but didn't lock it. Well, that just brings up different safety issues. Seriously, your wife is 100% wrong. I'm a mom and my kid is 18. I still remember when I fell asleep driving with him on the Los Angeles freeway for half a second when he was an infant, and I was an exhausted new parent, and I shudder and cringe every time. Nothing happened, and I still wish I could take it back. Your wife must stop doing this. This is so unsafe. Even if nothing happens, all it takes is one concerned citizen to call the police about a baby left in the car to get CPS knocking at your door. And that's a mess you really don't want to deal with.